73 degrees. After a week of temperatures in the 90s, just crazy humidity and like real feels in the hundreds, this is pretty crazy how it just instantly dropped. The actual temperature dropped 15 degrees. So I'm gonna take as much advantage of this as I can, and we're gonna get into the shop and we're gonna get some stuff done. You know, it's kind of maddening to pay $5 for a frickin' coffee when you can go to a deli and you get a $5 egg sandwich with a free coffee. So, I don't know, crazy stuff. I'm gonna give you guys an update on I'd Rather Be Wheeling. So, we have the website all ready to go. We have like shipping all figured out. We have literally everything ready to go. I just need to hit unlock the website, except we ordered another round of t-shirts and hoodies that we're way more comfortable and proud of to put out there. But they haven't come in yet, so we're just waiting for those, and then we can get our promos with those, unlock the website, and off we go. It's crazy how long I've been trying to promote this, and it's incredible how much time actually goes into this stuff. You want something that you can be really proud of, something that nobody else has? Well, I can guarantee you, it's not gonna come without a lot of hard work. Something you gotta keep in mind though is, it's not as easy as it looks on the internet or when you see people driving around in cool cars or whatever. It's not that easy. I feel like almost nothing goes as planned when you want to do something like really special and cool. Whew. So this Jeep has been kicking my butt, and you know what? I'm not mad about it. It's hard, it's tough, it's kind of gross work, but you know what? I think it's pretty sweet. This is more or less everything I need to do to get the front end just about done. So I need to paint the inside of the frame and get the nutserts in, so that way I can get the belly skid back up there and I can get good accurate data on where my drive shaft is going to land. You're not going to be able to see that from here, but that's something of concern that I haven't really fully explored yet, is that drive shaft and that upper link bracket. So those two are what I'm going to get started with, because they're somewhat easy and pretty cool. Obviously mount belly skid, check the drive shaft, and then I need to pull off the coilover hoops. I got a spare one there. Pull off the coilover hoops, weld those to the brackets, and then weld the brackets to the frame. Put the coilovers in, and that way I can check if the coilovers are going to clear the frame and everything. If those work out, then we're going to pull out the front axle, weld it all up, paint it, weld the links up, and she's good to go. So in the last video, I showed you guys that I got the Eastwood internal frame coating. This stuff is cool because it comes with a long hose, so you can get inside the frame really good. And this paint is an epoxy based paint, so it really just encapsulates everything. It spreads nicely and then just hardens and fills any grooves and gaps and little pores and stuff like that. So yeah, it comes with this hose. You can just put that right on top of your spray bottle, and then you put this right in the frame and off you go.
Walls closing in, I guess that I'm going big. So appropriate that I leave him motionless. What's the point of moving? You ain't been close to this. I know you as a student when the chosen brewing, all emotions grow intrusive. Stop that in my bag and they feelings usually.
So I want to say that I'm a big advocate for this specific Eastwood product. There's been people saying that this isn't the best thing to do, and in some cases it's not, because what this does is it spreads over a whole surface and then it creates another layer, so to speak. So if you have pockets of moisture or rot going on in your frame, this is just going to seal that in. And if there's still moisture in there, the chemical reaction that creates rust is going to continue to go on. So I just want to put that out there, that what I'm doing here, this frame has been sitting inside for quite a while. The frame is in great shape and there is no pre-existing rot or moisture in there, and I've cleaned it out, as as you guys have seen in the previous videos. And yeah, I just think that's a really important thing to share about this stuff.
Okay, so I started hearing this noise. That's not like a...
Alright, so this stuff does work very well and it covers very well, but it's like so liquidy. It just drips out of like every hole and just makes a mess with the excess pressure that builds up in the hose. So if you're doing this on a surface that you care about, put some stuff down. And otherwise, wear gloves, because... Oh, I got a hole in my glove. This stuff just makes a mess real quick.
So stop talking like you know some. You crop watch and go and grow some. They start jotting from the sofa, talking out your wallet, but you confident with no dug.
Alright, so yesterday I ended up going to a family party. Ended up having a good time, and I was gone for like the whole afternoon from like lunchtime on. So I just kind of left things around, and I kind of forget where I picked up the camera last. So what I'm going to do is fill you guys in real quick on what I was working on, making some big changes here, and then yeah, hopefully I can actually get somewhere today. We got some beautiful fall weather, fall-like weather. So yeah. So got a coat of paint on the skid plate using this Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover stuff. I am a big fan of this type of paint, this stuff specifically. And then I used Rust-Oleum's Farm and Implement paint, their primer. Excuse me. I used the Rust-Oleum Farm and Implement primer on that beforehand, and then this is what I was going to use, but I didn't have enough of it to do the whole skid plate, so I just used that Ultra Cover stuff. Part of me thinks that it's not much different because there's nothing explaining why this would be different. I think they just kind of slap different names on the same stuff because there's like 50 different like paints now, and I think they're all kind of the same thing. Farm and Implement stuff came out really good. I had a textured paint on this before, and whoa, almost dropped the camera. The problem with textured paint is that especially in a skid plate situation, when you get it dirty, it's really hard to clean. It almost just does not come clean. At least this, you can wipe it down and get it back to a shine, and you could always throw a clear coat on this too, and it would help that even more. So this is my choice of stuff with a good primer, of course. And obviously I got the inside of the frame coated. I don't really know how to show you guys that, but you can see the mess on the floor. That stuff really just gets everywhere. I got inside here, you can kind of see, not really at all. Yeah, you're not seeing that at all. But I did get the inside of the frame coated. I'm gonna look over that the best I can, feeling in there and with a flashlight. I wanna make sure that everything in there is coated nicely. Yeah, and then the biggest thing we have going on is I wanted to weld up my track bar bracket. I never actually welded the bracket together. It just comes like pre-bent, and it was actually flexing when I was testing the suspension, and I decided I wanted to change some stuff up, so I chopped it up pretty good. We have it over here. This is, I believe this is the R-Tech bracket, and this is like, I never welded like this stuff. It says my focus canceled. I never welded up like this type of stuff. And then on the back side as well, down there. This actually had 3 adjustment holes. I chopped the top one off because I'm going to lift it up on the axle a little bit more. So it will sit something like that. And it's gonna get welded basically just to the truss alone, which is fine because that's how my previous one was from the TNT truss kit. And what I really like about this design is since I'm lifting it up, see if I can shove that on there quick. Since I'm lifting it up to somewhere about there, I'll be able to mount my hydro ram. I can put the tabs right on the bottom of that track bar bracket now, because if I went right to the axle, you can see there's quite a bit of like a gap between here, so my ram would kind of be sitting on an angle like this, and the more you can get it like parallel with your steering links, the better it would be. what I would really like to do is just mount it right to the knuckle, but I think the only way I could get that done is if I went to a Heim on here and went through. But I think we'll be fine with what I'm doing. You could go to the diff cover. That's a thing that people do. But I think that just modifying this bracket, making it look a little less bulky on the axle is just gonna help everything all around. And yeah, so that's what I was working on. I actually chopped the whole back half of it off, and I put a bevel on there because what I'm gonna do, let's see, let me get that back up there. So what I plan to do, this is gonna be a little tough, but I'm going to make a plate from the bracket, and it's gonna come down, it's gonna be like a corner gusset, come down to the top of the truss. So that way I get a lot of good welding surface area so this thing doesn't crack off, especially if I'm gonna be putting my ram to it as well. Yeah, and then pretty much everything on here I'm gonna add gussets to. I just need to really focus on getting this thing on the ground and on its own weight first. So here's a better look at that. Here's a plate that I'm gonna add on to the side of the bracket just like this. And I put a bevel in there so I get some really good contact with the weld, and I can really get in there, maybe even do a root pass and then do something over the top of it. And then I can cut this into whatever shape I want to look pretty cool. And then this bottom edge here will get welded right to the truss, and I'll have a lot more surface area to weld this thing on there. Because this bracket is actually designed to go right onto the axle tube. It's not designed to go on a square truss. So that's what I'm gonna work on. I wanna get this thing on there so I can get my track bar set. And then while I'm on that subject, I gotta weld up the hoops to these brackets down here. And then I can throw the coilovers on there and see if I can't cycle this thing.
Avalanche is coming, and I don't even hear a sound. I'ma keep on running, I'm never gonna come back down. 'Cause if we never stop, tell me how they gonna get to us.
Alright, so here's the track bar bracket all welded up. This came out pretty nice. That's the weld you're gonna see. Once that's painted up, I'll be pretty proud to show that one off. It's not the straightest line in the world, but it's pretty. Got this one, that was my first one. It's a little sloppy, but definitely penetrated. Some nice big beads on there. And then a little hot. We got that one, I went in little stitches there. Got a bunch in there. And yeah, and my Heim joint still does slip in there. I actually hand tightened the a spare joint I had in there just to make sure that that's still gonna work. So I'm gonna let that cool down and we're gonna move on. So I think the skid plate is going to be sufficiently dry for now. So I'm going to get the jack under the transmission here. I got my jack stand ready to go so I can pull that thing out of there. And then I'm going to put the jack onto that, I'm going to put the skid plate onto the jack, and then we'll put it under here. So I actually just got ahead of myself. I forgot I need to replace the nutserts on this side of the frame. You can see there's just bare holes there. Don't mind the pitting in the frame, I'm gonna take care of that. Bare holes there. I got new nutserts to put in there for the belly skid. So let's break those out and see what those are about. All right, so I apologize for the cricket in the background right now. I have no idea where it's coming from. It's probably gonna be so annoying. Well, anyway, these are so common to replace on these Jeeps, especially when your center sections rot out so quick. So these are from, there's definitely an easier way to open this. These are from Black Magic Brakes, Blaine Johnson, what the heck is his name? Crap, I'm blanking on his name on the forums. This guy is a genius. He makes a lot of really cool parts for these things. Oh, a chapstick, that's interesting. But this right here is a specifically designed and tested nutsert for these Jeep frames. They're super, super extra duper heavy duty. And what's cool is he offers an actual little tool to install them, because you would need one hell of a nutsert tool to actually crush these down. So it comes with nice colored instructions, no strip, nutsert setting tool instructions for use. So yeah, these things are super beefy. I want to break one of these out. Super nice packaging too. I mean, that is something else. And also in the kit, you get the hardware, so you know you're not going to strip out your threads or anything, which is super nice. This is something I would really like to carry on the I'd Rather Be Wheeling website. So if someone's, you know, if anybody's interested in this type of stuff on the website, like really niche, really high quality stuff, let me know, because that's something I want to look into. So we're going to get these on. It seems fairly simple. If you're looking to do this, you know, just you go on the website. I'm sure you can just download these instructions, and it'll be a lot better than me trying to explain it to you. All right, so now that I have a good idea of how these things work, you put your tool in there. It works better with 2 wrenches, but I don't have 2 3/4 wrenches. So the bottom, the nut itself, or the bolt itself, actually stays stationary. So you hold that in place, and then the nut, you basically loosen it up. And what that does is crush the nutsert into the frame. It's really hard to tell when it's done, but it seems to work really good. Wow, have I gotten a lot done since I last picked up the camera. I kind of blew it for this video, but I honestly don't even remember what I was doing. Got the skid plate mounted up. She looks really good. All right, guys. All right, guys, I apologize for the lack of like a storyline to this, but what a long weekend it's been. So get out there, get something done, and be proud of yourself. I don't know, I don't really have much to say at this point in the video, so I guess I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.